So what is up, weenies? It is no secret that Thailand's nightlife is extensive, I guess is one way you could put it. I almost knocked the camera down. Now, even though the nightlife in Thailand is super laid back, you can get away with a lot, there are a few things that I think you shouldn't do. A few of them can end you up in a really bad spot or, you know, getting a little lumped up. And a few other ones are just to kind of make sure that you have the best experience you can. So in today's video, I'm giving you 5 must not do's when it comes to partying or even just drinking or going to a bar when you're in Thailand. So where do I get off? Who the hell am I to tell you what to do and what not to do when it comes to partying in general? I'm assuming you're a grown adult. You could probably make pretty good decisions. But when it comes to Thailand, a few things are different. And in general, I've pretty much spent my entire adult life in clubs, bars, parties. I was a bartender for a long time, DJ for a long time. You name it, pretty much every job I've had, I've been around booze of some sort, or just partying in general. So our first point of something to not do when you come to party in Thailand, and that's just kind of picking the wrong spot. Now, especially if you're in Pattaya, Phuket, Bangkok, the possibilities and options when it comes to drinking, partying in general, are pretty much limitless. But if you've never been to Thailand before, you might not know that different places kind of offer different things when it comes to services or what the party atmosphere is going to kind of be like. So depending on what you're looking for, it's very important that you kind of pick the right bar. Now, I won't go into details on the differences between nightclubs and beer bars and all that stuff. There's plenty of those videos out there. There's plenty of creators that make good content when it comes to that stuff. So you'll have to kind of figure that one out on your own. But in all fairness, once you're here for a week or so, in all reality, you'll kind of start to notice the differences and you'll be able to spot them from a little farther away. But picking the right spot is essential to avoiding some of the other problems and do not do's that we're going to talk about later. If you're a creature of habit like myself, number 2 is probably going to ring true for you, and that's doing your best to try to go to new spots. Now, after you do your research on the differences between bars, you might think, oh, well, I don't want to go to that type of place or that type of place, which is fine. But if it's for a specific reason, of course, nothing is forced on you when you go anywhere. You can do whatever you want within reason. So I would say try to avoid finding, 2 or 3 spots that you like and only going there. Do your best to kind of run around and experience as much as you can. At least go to one new place a night, right? My general rule is 1 to 2 drinks per bar, per club, whatever. Unless, of course, you're hitting that end of the night club where you're getting a bottle or whatever. But in general, I think it's a really good idea to kind of move around a little bit. And of course, being a random most of the time is beneficial. In my opinion, I like to stay under the radar a little bit. So even when you do find places that you do enjoy, make sure you're at least doing a little bit to kind of move around and hopefully find some new spots. And now we're getting into the real nitty-gritty, the things that can make your time really bad. You could end up in some places that you don't want to be. You could get punched in some places you don't want to get punched. But our next point is just in general, just kind of being a bad customer. Now in America, I know some of us are used to the customer is always right, and hopefully you're not that type of person, but if you are, that likes to yell at people when they get your order wrong, or maybe they add an extra drink to your bill on accident, even if it's not on accident, if you catch it, not that big a deal. If it is something that rubs you the wrong way, just take care of it and then go the other way and just don't come back. Now, if you're making a stink, if you're yelling at people, things like that, it's Thailand. You will always lose that argument. And if you've ever worked, especially in the nightlife or bar industry, you know that everybody talks. So if this is somewhere that you're planning on living and you're known for kind of running around and kind of being a jerk to the people that are serving you drinks, that news is going to travel very fast. Just remember, things are a lot different here in Thailand. If you're the get upset person when your drink takes more than 5 minutes to get to you, everything in Thailand is on, we call it Thailand time. So sometimes things are just a little bit slower, but I'm guessing you came here to have a good time. You came here to relax, so do your best to just try to chill out a little bit and don't have your chest puffed out, which is a perfect segue into our next point. Now this next one is one I've seen happen, I wouldn't say quite a few times, but at least a few. And this is a situation where you could really get yourself into some trouble, whether that be legally or whether it be with people on the street or friends, whatever. And that is, don't think just because you're somewhere spending money that you can get away with whatever you want. Even though a lot of bars in Thailand, you can get away with a lot more than you would be able to in America, that doesn't mean there's no rules. There are do's and don'ts. And even if you're in there spending thousands of baht, there are thousands of other guys, people right behind you that are willing to spend money. So your money is not that important to the point where you can just do whatever you want and be disrespectful or be a little too off the wall. Now, granted, you can get pretty crazy in bars here. People don't really mind too much, but don't think just because you're spending money that essentially means you don't have to play by the rules. Now, a lot of times in Thailand, it is kind of pay to play. You can get a little bit more if you spend more money in certain places, but there are black and whites when it comes to that. There's things that are not cool. There's things that are disrespectful. Don't think that because things are so relaxed a lot of the time that you can just spend some money and essentially do whatever you want. And if you don't take anything from this video, at least hold on to this last point. This is one that I've seen plenty of times. And when it comes to me, if it wasn't for my experience already being involved in these industries or this type of social circles for a long time, I could definitely see myself going down the wrong path when it comes to this. And that's just getting lost in the sauce, like we like to say in America. So if you're a big partier in America, it can be kind of easy to stay away from stuff, at least most of the time, because you know things are really only going on the weekends. The big nightclubs and all that stuff, it's really only going on during the weekends. In the morning, there's not really bars open or anything like that. If it's not 8 or 9 p.m., it can be a little bit harder to drink unless you're going to the local Applebee's and getting $1 margaritas. If you do that, I won't judge, I have been there. But in Thailand, it is much different, especially Bangkok, Pattaya, especially. Anytime you want to drink, relatively, it's available from 9 a.m. till 2 a.m. and then there's even some places after that, or you can go load up and go to the beach. So it is a all the time thing here. So if you're the type of person to start drinking and go on benders, you have to be really careful with that here. One, because it's always available, and two, there's no like outside judgment really. Like partying and drinking is so much more ingrained here than it is at home. There will always be people to drink with. There will always be a place to find a drink. So you have to really be careful with that. Not only is it bad for your health, but obviously your wallet too. Now I mentioned in my last budget video, if you haven't watched that yet, what are you doing? That of course partying in Thailand is way cheaper than it is in America, but that doesn't mean it can't get expensive. Especially if you're going to Walking Street, go-go's, nightclubs, things like that. That can add up really quick. If you're looking at 200 baht a beer and you're like, oh, well, what is that? 200 baht is like $6, $7, something like that. And relatively, that's cheap compared to America, especially in a district like that. But I mean, think about it. You're going out 5 nights a week, having 10, 15 beers a night, at least. That's not including cocktails, which are more expensive. It adds up really quick. So getting lost in the sauce will not only be bad for your health, it's gonna be bad for your wallet too. So if that is something that you like to partake in, and you're maybe worried that that's something that might be hard for you, you can look at other places. It's not like that everywhere in Thailand. And also I would suggest just making an effort to make some friends who have some other hobbies besides that, and fill up as much as your schedule as you can with stuff that's not partying. If you're looking to cut loose, have some drinks in a place where there's really not a lot of rules, there are still a few, Thailand is the perfect place for it. And if you avoid these 5 things, I feel like you'll probably be all right. If you have some no-nos when it comes to Thailand nightlife, feel free to drop them down in the comments below for anybody else that might be interested. And thank you guys for tuning in to another video. We have a really cool one coming tomorrow. I am gonna go try to catch a 250 pounder in Thailand, and no, I don't mean your mom. So I will catch you guys in the next one, and like we always say, I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you later.